Research and recording of Canadian creepies happens on the shared land and traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties. A key treaty governing this territory is the Dish with One Spoon Agreement. This treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee people binds them to share and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, settlers, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We all share the responsibility of ensuring the dish is never empty, meaning we must take care of the land and the creatures we share in it. Kalu Pillock. The Windigo or Wendigo. The Wasgo or Gone Cadet, Cressy, and
the Adlet.
Today we are going to be talking about mystical and mythical monsters, creatures and beasts in Canada.
Woohoo!
There are
our own monsters.
Our very own monsters. My name is Valerie.
And I'm Al-Uri.
And welcome to another episode of Canadian Creepies. Happy to be here. We got our first snowfall in Niagara.
I'm freezing. I hate being cold. I'm the worst.
Woke up to snow.
Yeah, we had a light dusting.
Yeah,
it's just I could see the grass, but not really.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It was just like a little dust.
There was a little more. I almost had to scrape off the car, but I like to heat up the car before I go out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nice. I'm
so
very
it melts
impatient.
off on its own.
I created a scratch in my car window. that I had to get the window replaced, like the whole windshield replaced, because I wouldn't let it heat up in time. And I would try to use the windshield wipers really fast to get rid of the ice, but then it would it rubbed the rubber off the end. So then it was just wiping my windows with the metal of the...
You're like, this is fine.
I'm weird, there's a half moon of just smudge. And I'm oh wait, no, that's a scratch.
You're I can see, can't I?
Right? Exactly. So for anyone thinking they're just gonna, wing it and not let their car warm up, let it warm up. That's, you know what, and that is... Unless you want to get your windshield replaced and pay a $500 deductible in Canada.
That is one of the many reasons why I share a car with Kyle, because I just still, even at the ripe old age of 34, I still don't feel like I'm responsible enough to own a car even,
There's so many things.
There's so much.
I'm a leaser.
So much maintenance. However, all that being said, if a Canadian car company wants to sponsor this episode, I will drive your car.
Yeah, we'll drive it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Beep, beep. There's room for sponsors in every episode. Okay, should we dive in?
Let's dive in.
So... Canadian Creepies, we're doing some monsters. I'm really excited.
Monsters.
It's exciting getting into monsters because
I love monsters.
I don't know if you stumbled upon the term cryptozoology as you were doing your research too.
Just cryptid, just...
Right.
Yeah.
But it's there's some wild theories about ancient beasts and mythical beasts in general.
The one that I researched stems from Indigenous beliefs.
Yes.
They are crazy cool.
Yes. Yeah. I think I notice a trend with a lot of, I think it stands to reason given our heritage.
Yeah.
And where our land comes from, or who we share our land with, who we colonize the land on. The First Nations folks. They have a lot of folklore, myths. Yes.
Tales. Mythological tales.
Yes. So, I compiled a huge list of them, and then I picked 4, and Allie picked 1.
So we have 5 total.
We're going to do 5 of them today.
Nice.
And then this is going to be a multi-part series that we can come back to whenever we feel like
nice.
If
That'd be nice.
There are any monsters in particular anybody wants us to look up, or...
There were so many when I was looking.
There's so many. So this first one I'm going to do is called the Kalupiluk, but it's also known as the Kalupillet.
Okay, I like the name.
It is an ugly, slimy, and scaly creature with webbed hands, fins, and it reeks of sulfur.
Ugh, God.
They will snatch children from the edges of Arctic water.
Oh my God.
So this
that's
is
terrifying.
Like, I think the Kalupiluk is northern Canada.
Okay, yeah. I think mine is too.
Oh, love.
Yeah.
Tales of this mystical beast come from Nunavut and Inuit mythology.
Okay.
Right. So we were correct. There are creatures that live along the Arctic shoreline near ice flows. No one knows why these creatures love to take children. But that's what they do. They take children. They're not interested.
Targets.
That's right. The vulnerable.
Yeah.
Maybe they take children because they are lonely and need the company. Or maybe they just like how they taste.
Fresh
young blood. Many stories of the Kalupiluk describe them wearing duck skin with large pouches on their back to carry children in.
Oh my God.
It's odd. Like
they're coming prepared.
Yeah. They're ready to...
We can fit at least 10 kids in this sack.
10 kids per duck skin pouch outfit.
Yeah.
That's the best costume for the day. They hide in the ocean waiting for children to play alone on the beach or near breaking ice. They will jump out of the water without any warning and grab children. However, sometimes you can hear them knocking under the ice.
Oh my goodness, that'd be terrifying.
I know, imagine you're just like, bah, 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 and you hear just like...
I can't. That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
You look down and you see this thing.
Yeah,
that'd be no good.
Thanks.
Some elders have said that if the ocean begins to become wavy in an area or steam starts to rise from the ocean, there might be a Kalupiluk hiding under there. They are especially active when the ice breaks in the spring. And some say they will eat children. Others say they will raise children as their own, as they have been described as feminine looking. And they are basically the water-dwelling version of the boogeyman. Weird. Oogie boogie.
Yeah, oogie boogie.
Really spooky. I didn't write this down, but I know this from researching it. It comes from... It's another story of like, sort of like maybe the ghost of Miss Anderson in Nova Scotia.
Uh-huh.
It's another one of those keep kids away from breaking ice.
Yeah.
Which
like
if I was a kid and I heard that, I would be nowhere near any scaly, slimy creatures.
Either.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. The next one, do you want to do yours or do you want me to keep going?
I'll go last.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. I love that. You'll go last. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'll just...
The next one I'm going to do, you might have heard of.
Okay.
It is called the Wendigo or Wendigo.
Yeah, I have heard of it, but I don't know really anything on it.
So the Wendigo has been used as a cautionary tale about greed to warn members of the community to not take more than what was needed, to look out for each other, and to not believe you are entitled to more than the person next to you, to not take too much from nature, not to self-aggrandize, which means to increase your own power, status, or wealth. Basically, the Wendigo's story was here to remind us to be humble.
Okay. Not a bad story.
It's a mythological, cannibalistic monster in the spiritual tradition of Northern American Algonquin-speaking tribes.
Cannibalistic.
I know, terrifying.
That is very terrifying.
It is associated with winter.
Ugh.
And we just had our first snowfall. And is described as either a fearsome beast that stalks and eats humans, or as a spirit that possesses humans, causing them to turn into cannibals.
No, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Ugh, that's a fear for sure.
There are many different spellings and pronunciations of Wendigo. In Ojibwe, the term is defined as a winter cannibal monster, but its name may derive from the Proto-Algonquin word Win-Teko-Wa, meaning owl.
Okay.
Some legends say the Wendigo is an emaciated figure with ashen flesh. So it's like all sunken in and
Ugh,
bony. Others describe it as a giant creature up to 15 feet or 4.5 meters tall, as a beast that grows larger the more it eats.
Okay.
It may have sunken or glowing eyes and sharp yellow fangs and claws. Its lips are chewed or entirely missing because it has eaten them.
Oh, God.
I know, that's the worst. It may be hairless or have fur. I'm picturing one of those like Sphinx cats, just like upright.
Yeah.
It may have pointed ears and horns or antlers like a deer. It smells of rotting flesh and is usually first detected by humans by its horrible odor. They are believed to have exceptionally sharp eyesight, hearing, sense of smell, as well as superior strength and speed in order to stalk and overpower their victims. These ones are pretty creepy because they're just going to get you.
Yeah, and they're like jump scares.
Yeah, they're jump scares and they're going to stalk you and get you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. They live in colder climates along the woodlands and lakes of Canada and the United States.
Okay.
They can easily move through deep snow and across ice.
Damn.
I want everybody listening to tally the amount of Allie's yawn.
I'm not feeling myself.
It's okay.
As many people can maybe hear.
It's okay, though.
Last episode.
We're committed.
Yeah, we're committed.
So here we are. We're going to
just
do
bear
our
with
monsters.
me. Yeah. Bear with me today.
I just wanted to give some context because it's totally okay.
It's going to sound,
I don't mind.
Yeah.
But that is what's going on. We're real people with real lives.
Yeah. I haven't slept really well.
But here she is recording. We have our ghost going.
We got our ghost going. We got Daisy.
Our mosaic.
Yeah. Exactly.
Chucky's.
Yeah. We're good.
A shaman may be the only person who can subdue and destroy a Wendigo using either a steel, silver, or iron bullet or dagger. So on top of using this specific metal weapon, you also have to be a shaman, like a holy person, in order to defeat it. Okay. So me and you can't defeat it because we're not holy people.
So we would just be like, yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Some legends claim that the Wendigo's heart must be cut out and melted or burned in a fire before its spirit is truly vanquished. The Wendigo is sometimes described as a spirit rather than a physical presence. In Cree mythology, for example, the Wendigo is believed to be an evil spirit that possesses humans. And actually, that book I read in the summer, Bad Cree.
Oh, yeah, the Bad Cree book, yeah.
Is about a Wendigo.
Oh.
And it's a really, really good book. It's by an author her name is Jessica Johns. And I will link that in the show notes for everyone. So in Cree mythology, they believe that the spirit enters a person, they believe that the Wendigo spirit enters a person by biting him or her through a dream.
Ugh. You're not even safe when you dream.
You're not even safe when you dream.
That's crazy.
It's like Freddie Krueger.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost said Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, it's okay.
The possessed person becomes cannibalistic, violent, and deranged. Some people are believed to be more susceptible to becoming possessed, including those who are greedy or gluttonous, as well as those who are suffering from hunger or starvation. So it's like if you are eating too much and have too much, the Wendigo might get you. But also, if you're starving,
homeless and starving, and
the Wendigo might get you.
Yeah, they're not biased.
No. The Wendigo legend exists in so you need to be just like a medium amount of tortured in your life, and you're good.
Okay, fair enough.
The Wendigo legend exists in the oral history of North American tribes predating colonizers' arrival in North America. Some anthropologists believe that the legend developed as a cautionary tale about the importance of community to guard against individual greed, selfishness, and isolation. Which makes sense because you're living in a community.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you're living in a tribe, everybody's helping each other.
That's true.
The Wendigo was a personification of cold and hunger in a time when human survival relied on banding together and sharing resources, particularly during the long, harsh winters of the northern wilderness.
Okay.
The legend may have served as a warning to children not to wander too far into the woods as well.
Yeah.
Like, don't go into the woods or the Wendigo is going to get you.
Yeah. Which I would have been like, okay, nope.
Yeah, don't worry, I won't go in the woods. The first known written mention of the Wendigo appears in 1636.
Wow.
Which is so long ago. It's a report by Paul Lejeune, a French Jesuit missionary living among the Algonquin people in what is now Quebec.
Cool.
Lejeune described a woman who warns of an Achin, which is a cannibalistic spirit, that had eaten some tribal members nearby and that would eat a great many more of them if he were not called elsewhere.
Huh.
A few instances of murder and cannibalism in North America were blamed on the Wendigo as well. A case in 1879, Alberta, where a Cree hunter and trapper named Swift Runner claimed a Wendigo had entered his dreams and told him to eat his family. He was tried for murder, charged for his crimes, and hanged later that year.
My goodness.
Another case occurred in 1907 among the Sandy Lake First Nation community in northern Ontario. A tribal shaman, probably trying to kill the Wendigo, and his brother Joseph Fiddler were charged with the murders of Joseph's brother-in-law, whom they had strangled to prevent from becoming possessed by the Wendigo.
Huh.
After Joseph's arrest, Jack escaped police and strangled himself.
Oh my God.
And Joseph died from tuberculosis in prison in 1909.
Dang.
I know, these poor people. By the early 20th century, Wendigo psychosis was being used by psychologists and missionaries to describe a culture-bound syndrome among Native and First Nations people whose symptoms included delusions of becoming possessed by an evil spirit, depression, violence, a compulsion for human flesh, and in some cases, cannibalism.
Ugh.
So they were using it as a full-blown diagnosis at one point. So by the earliest 20th century, they were using Wendigo psychosis as a diagnosis.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
It was also diagnosed retroactively in historical cases of cannibalism in North America. So they went back a few years and went, oh, that must be Wendigo psychosis. That must be Wendigo psychosis. However, the existence of this syndrome is now widely disputed by scientists.
Okay.
For centuries, Indigenous artists and activists have drawn on the Wendigo legend both literally and metaphorically to address such issues as colonialism, violence, and environmental destruction.
Okay.
American writer Louise Erdrich's poem Wendigo, written in
cool name, sorry.
Louise Erdrich?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? All the names. We get the coolest names.
She's ours. Well,
we have cool names.
Alison.
And mine, Valison. Louise Erdrich's poem Wendigo, written in 1984, tells of a man trapped inside a Wendigo who abducts a young girl who in turn releases his spirit, which is wild.
That's cool.
Really cool.
I wonder if there's any movies on Wendigo. It seems like something you could make a movie out of.
Totally.
I will be looking into that.
Definitely. Louise also, I think I might mention a movie down here.
Okay.
Louise also wrote a novel in 2012 called The Roundhouse, and it centers on an Ojibwe boy in North Dakota seeking justice after his mother is raped, and used the Wendigo legend to explore views of retribution and justice among the boy's tribe versus those of the U.S. government. I mean, that sounds like a good book. Sounds like a heavy read, good book.
I wonder if different tribes, like if all indigenous stories sound the same because they all share something similar, but then they're vastly different within their own tribe. So something in the Inuit tribe, if they were to explain their theory on a mythological creature, would it sound vastly different from a creature from another tribe? Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Or would they share, like, would all of these stories sound similar?
I think there are a lot of similarities, especially in the case of the Wendigo or
Even
Wendigo.
in our well, I have so many questions on it because our culture, like you and me, we share indigenous upbringings only from what we were taught in school.
Right.
So, like, our creatures, like, say, like, we're Canadian, but, like, I don't want to say, like, Americanized, but, like, Slender Man or something like that.
Right, like westernized.
Westernized. Would that come from something?
Totally.
Yeah, it's so neat.
Yeah, how it can, like, our Western, like the boogeyman.
Yes.
The boogeyman, like, that's...
Because mine,
yeah,
I think, well, you'll hear it. Maybe you'll get more when I'm like...
Yeah, because I purposely didn't look at anything about the adlet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
You'll hear it. It sounds very similar to something that I like that's been westernized. So I was kind of like, did we take it from the Inuit culture? You'll hear it. It's neat. It's just another topic.
I'm excited, and we probably did take it.
Yeah. We stole that too.
And we took that too.
Yeah.
In the 21st century, activist Winona LaDuke coined the term Wendigo economics to criticize corporations' cannibalistic effect on Earth, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's
10
cool.
out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Love that.
12 out of 10.
12 out of 10. Since the 19th century, the Wendigo legend has also captured the imagination of non-Indigenous authors as well. In The Wilderness Hunter, written in 1893 by Theodore Roosevelt, before he was president of the United States, includes a goblin story about a bear-like beast that stalks the camp of two hunters, leaving only one to survive to tell the tale. Readers have interpreted Roosevelt's beast as being either the legendary Bigfoot or Wendigo.
Interesting.
So in that case, that's exactly what you were just talking about.
It's so true. That's so neat.
Right? British writer listen, are you ready for this name?
Yeah.
I remember writing this name and being like, this is,
kick out of it.
Of all the names we have liked
Gotten
so
that.
far
Yeah,
this season, this is the top.
Okay.
Algernon Blackwoods.
Oh my gosh.
British writer Algernon Blackwoods.
Who I also just want on my side.
Right? He wrote a novella called The Wendigo in 1910, and it tells of a similar story of a mysterious monster hunting a campsite in the Canadian wilderness. So that's a British guy talking about the Canadian wilderness and an indigenous...
That's so wild.
Tale,
yeah.
And probably profiting off it. That's what we call cultural appropriation, my friends.
Exactly.
American novelist Stephen King features a Wendigo in the horror story of Pet Sematary. That was written in 1983.
Love Pet Sematary is one of my favorite stories.
Really? Have you read the book?
No.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I've heard the stories, and then they like
the movie too.
Then the movie, the original, and then they made the remake, which isn't that old. And I've seen first heard the stories, then watched the movie, the original,
right?
And I just love the storyline is what I like.
The scariest part is the meningitis.
Oh my god,
a sister with meningitis.
And I remember being a kid and always being like, if I bury my hamster, is he gonna come back? If I put him in the pet cemetery, he's gonna come back. Yeah, this little gerbil.
Yeah. Canadian writer Margaret Atwood, who everybody might recognize because she also wrote The Handmaid's Tale.
Love it.
Examines the Wendigo legend in her book, Strange Things, The Malevolent North in Canadian Literature, written in 1995. And it's a book of lectures on the imaginative landscape of Canadian literature. I feel like I would enjoy that read.
You definitely would.
Wendigos have also found their way into the plots of television shows such as Hannibal, video games such as Until Dawn, and comic books including The Incredible Hulk and Wolverine.
Interesting.
A Wendigo character also appears in the action film The Lone Ranger that came out in 2013, despite the plot's U.S. southwestern setting.
Okay, so they've mixed.
Yeah.
That's also funny when they do things like that. They mix too.
Westernizing it. Literally westernizing it. Scott Cooper and Guillermo del Toro's Antlers which came out in 2021.
Oh yeah. That was I watched that, but I can't really remember.
Yeah, so in that, the Wendigo is a deer-like creature in a story that combines supernatural horror and generational trauma in a small town setting. I don't know if I've watched that, and I really want to.
We could rewatch it. I started Smile 2 last night.
That's
we had
good.
to shut it off.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if I watched Smile 2 yet, but I know I watched Smile 1.
Okay, it's more like, not reminding me of like indie film, but it definitely has more like film-esque aspects to it.
Oh, just like not good.
Holy shit, I was like, even Jake was like, maybe we turn this off and put on The Simpsons for us to fall asleep to.
Because it was scary?
It was scary. I felt and the acting was great. I was just like blown away by how scary it was. And like, that's all we watch is horror and thriller. Yeah. So we were waiting for it. I'm not paying $24. That's another thing. They've just jacked the prices up. $24.99 to rent.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I'm down for the $3.99 on YouTube.
Yeah, come on now. Come on now.
It's now on Paramount Plus though, on Prime if you have it.
Perfect.
If anyone has it, Smile 2.
I love Paramount Plus.
Creepy.
And I will watch it.
And that's like, I don't even know what the monster is in that one.
Just smiling.
Yeah, it's something. It's like, it's obviously like a spirit or like a spell. It's something that's being passed. You have to pass it on. Yeah. In order to save yourself. So that's kind of a cool, not like, it's not a monster, but it's kind of a cool, it's a something.
It's paranormal or supernatural.
That's neat.
It's very neat.
Very random, and also not in like the jump scare kind of thing, but it's in that category as I think it could be, because it's like it comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
And you're just like,
for sure,
someone smiles at you and you're fucked.
It's also like when you like are watching it and because we all do this when you're watching it and applying it to your life, like, oh, what would I do? There's nothing you could do. What would you do?
Someone smiles at you.
What would you do?
You're royally fucked, and if you don't know that you have to pass it on,
you don't know.
You die.
You die
a horrible, bloody, horrible death, okay?
A horrible, terrible, painful, devastating death.
The best death.
This next creature we're going to cover... The best death. This next creature we're going to cover is kind of cute, actually.
Yay. Throw a little cuteness in. And then I'll end it with some blood-curdling...
Yeah.
Death.
And I'm going to show you a picture of one. Because they're little cuties, I think.
Cuties that do blood-curdling, grotesque killings? Oh, I love them.
Aren't they cute?
I love them.
They're like half wolves, half killer whales.
That is neat.
What I will do is I will link the picture of this in the show notes so that you can see it.
I really want to watch a documentary, and I think they've come out with a couple on orcas, because talk about real life monsters.
Are they?
Orcas are, I guess, cray.
I know. Well, don't they like to play with
They play and hunt, and like they're scary looking. You wouldn't think they would be until you see them with their tiny little eyes hunting in like packs.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Yeah, it's really cool, and they're real life. And
they hunt in packs. Well, maybe that is why this monster, because wolves also hunt in packs.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe that is why this monster is half wolf.
Watch me be completely wrong, and they don't. And they're just single hunting.
They call this creature the sea wolf.
Sea wolf.
And don't they call, what do they call a bunch of wolves? It's a school of fish.
Pack of wolves.
Sorry. Like a group of whales.
Oh,
should I Google that?
Yeah, just Google it. Well, it wouldn't be a school, right?
Right.
A
collective.
I was going to say a waddle of whales.
Oh, a pod.
A pod of whales.
Yeah, you can call them a school, a pod, or a gam.
Okay. Kind of like gam.
Gam sounds like that's, you know where they say gam? Newfoundland.
Oh,
Nova
that's
Scotia.
Such a,
off the East Coast there, it got a gam of whales.
Got a gam of whales.
Oh my goodness. So the Wasgo also called gonacadet, is a half wolf, half killer whale, and they call it a sea wolf. It's very cute.
Very cute.
It is a sea serpent and lake monster in the belief of the Haida people of the Queen Charlotte Islands in British Columbia.
Cool.
The Haida are an indigenous group who have traditionally occupied Haida Gwaii, which is a group of islands scattered off the coast of British Columbia. They're the indigenous folks who lived on those islands.
They're super cool.
For at least 12,500 years they lived there.
Wow.
The Haida are known for their craftsmanship, trading skills, and seamanship.
Cool. That is neat.
It is very neat.
Hardworking people.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this mythology comes from them.
Neat.
It's commonly depicted in Haida artwork as a combination of a whale and a wolf, as I showed you. It has been seen by some cryptozoologists as an ancient expression of encounters with Cadborosaurus wilsey.
Okay. Wow.
Caddy or Amy. So Caddy are the boys.
Okay.
Amy are the females.
Okay.
Of this Cadborosaurus wilsey. So there is, I'm trying to explain it. There's, how do I explain it? They're of the same family.
Okay.
They're of the same family.
Okay.
So we have to get in to them to like sort of understand.
I see. Okay, I got you.
The Wasgo or the gonacadet. You have to understand the Cadborosaurus wilsey.
Gotcha.
So Caddy are the boys, Amy for the females, and it's a name given to sea serpents reported mainly from the Salish Sea and the Pacific Ocean coast of Vancouver Islands in Western Canada.
Wow.
The name is something applied more broadly to sea serpents. So caddy. So if a sea serpent is a caddy. Or if it's a girl, Amy. I don't know how you know the difference. If it's just
maybe patterns or something.
Yes, that would be a good way to know the difference. Yeah. The name is sometimes applied more broadly to sea serpents reported from all along the Pacific Northwest coasts of Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, and Oregon. So all along that coastline there.
Okay.
Although different local names are used in some of these areas. Indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest believed in a number of sea monsters. So there was Caddy, there was Wasco, there was...
Okay, cool.
A bunch of them. Except for a single possible sighting in the 18th century, European reports of sea serpents in this region began in the late 19th century around Vancouver and Seattle and became more frequent over the decades until the name Caddy was coined during a flood of accounts in 1933 and 1934. And which in like 1933 and 1934, it does stand to reason that there could have been some sort of giant beast.
Yes.
In the water still.
100%.
That wasn't extinct yet.
Yeah. Just like the megalodon.
Right? Oh, those things. I get the heebies thinking about those.
I know. Massive.
So in 1933 and 1934, published reports became regular and internationally known.
Wow.
Paul H. LeBlond, Edward Bousfield, and John Siebert became its best-known investigators after beginning surveys in the 1970s, and sightings of sea serpents are still reported from the Salish Sea, most recently in 2019.
Okay.
Alongside sightings, pieces of evidence cited in support of Cadborosaurus wilsey include an alleged juvenile specimen pulled from the stomach of a whale in 1937.
Wow.
Which it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was probably just a baby whale, but...
It's still creepy.
A number of supposed baby sea serpents captured alive...
Ugh, God.
...but released, and a piece of semi-lost footage. How is something semi-lost?
I don't know.
Filmed in Alaska claimed to show a group of caddies. However, all of this evidence is extremely controversial. There are 3 distinct categories of caddy: small-eyed, large-eyed, and serpentine.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? It's the cryptozoology when you get into it. I don't know much about it yet, but
serpent eyes would be gnarly.
Serpent eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like just seeing giant serpent eyes?
Yeah. Yes. It would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're terrifying small.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
However, the general vibe of the Wasgo, we have all that information about the caddy, but the general vibe of the Wasgo is strong, humble, generous, and kind.
Okay.
So we like it.
We love it.
She's furry.
Yeah, she's cutesy wootsy.
She's cutesy. Despite its appearance, it is viewed as fortunate if you are to ever encounter one.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
I do like that. I'm going with that if I ever come across one.
Yeah, it's fortunate.
Yeah.
My last one we're going to do is Cressy, not to be confused with Bessie, who we will cover, who I think...
Nessie.
Or Nessie. But Nessie's in Scotland, right?
Yeah.
So Nessie's in Scotland. Bessie is in Lake Erie.
Oh, okay.
And then we have Cressy.
Cressy, cool.
In Canadian folklore, Cressy is the nickname given to an eel-like monster said to reside in Crescent Lake, Roberts Arms, Newfoundland and Labrador. And again, Roberts Arm, you're welcome to sponsor this episode. We will come there. We will investigate Cressy ourselves.
Would love it.
We would absolutely love to do that. Send us an invite. Sponsor the trip as well.
Please and thank you.
We'll bring our own spending money. Don't worry about that. We'll buy things at all your local shops.
Yes.
For sure.
Help a couple gals out.
Help a couple gals out. Get us a vacation. I mean a work trip.
I mean, we will be doing due diligent work.
We'll be looking for Cressy.
Yeah.
The monster has been described as resembling a large, dark brown eel around 15 feet in length with a long, sleek body and as looking long and shiny and having a fish-like head. So it looks like an eel with a fish-like head.
They're scary.
Ugh.
Eels scare me.
They're slippy slidey.
Yeah.
Claims of Cressy being sighted began in the 1950s and continue to the present day. See? Have us down.
Yeah,
We'd love to come.
Super, super gnarly.
Though there are reported sightings as early as the 1950s, some have linked the legends to earlier indigenous legends of the Woodum Haut, or Pond Devil, or Haut Tuwedyi, swimming demon.
Cool.
There have been no photos of Cressy, and all information relies on local oral history. According to according to local folklore, an elderly resident of Roberts Arm, known as Grandmother Anthony, was startled while berry picking by a giant serpent by the lake. In one of the earliest dated sightings, 2 woodsmen were on the shores of the lake when they noticed an upturned boat, and fearing for its occupants, they hurried towards it. However, as they approached the boat, it turned out to be something large and slick, which slipped below the waters of the lake.
Not slick as in sly. Slick as in...
Slimy.
Slimy.
One time I was frog hunting on my grandparents' their backyard had a pond, but there were other houses living around the pond too. They didn't have their own pond. It was in like a retirement community.
Love it.
And it was a man-made pond. But I always used to go frog hunting.
Love frogs.
Obviously, you catch little baby ones. They're so
cute.
Sweet. And the best little baby ones were found in the little spots of the pond. So the one day I'm paddle boating through the pond, and I think maybe Jenny was with me, and I'm like, oh look, there's a frog. And I went to go catch it, and it went and it slithered away because a frog head and a snake head look very similar if you think about it.
Oh, they do.
And it was a pond snake. I didn't catch it, but to this day, I swear I never tried to catch a frog after that ever again.
No.
I was too scared.
We had bullfrogs behind our house on the farm, and talk about fucking massive. These things were the size of a brick.
I've never seen a frog that big.
I don't know if you really want to. They're huge.
No, I don't.
The noises they make are very nurturing. Yeah, I loved them. I loved hearing them at night. I'd just be in bed just oh yeah, that is the sound of summer and spring. But then you'd go out and you'd cut, and they're huge, and they have huge bellies, and they're fucking massive.
You ever run them over accidentally?
Maybe the jitneys, like the guys on the farm did.
Oh my God.
We had a big willow tree that we had to have uprooted, and it was the best. And it was over the pond, and they always sat on the big roots that would be like half in the water, half out, and they were just like, "Brr," and you're like, oh God.
Jeez,
you're fucking scary, bud. Anyhow.
You're like, thanks for the invite. Yeah, I will not join you swimming.
Exactly. Yeah.
A local resident reported a slim black shape rise 5 feet from a patch of churning water before sinking out of sight in the spring of early 1990, right around the time we were born.
So cool.
On July 9th, 1991, Fred Parsons and his wife reported seeing a large snake-like creature swimming in Crescent Lake. He described it as a long, sleek body without a significantly large head, which was laying level with the water. In September of that same year, a resident of Roberts Arm was returning to the town when he noticed a disturbance on the surface of the lake, as he watched the object drop beneath the surface and then rise again.
Oh, God.
Scary. So scary. He described it as black, 15-foot long shape, pitching forward in a rolling motion, much as a whale does, but with no sign of a fin. It sank out of sight and did not reappear. So it's like this, maybe Cressy just lurks like at the bottom of the thing and only hops up to eat.
Yeah.
There were several sightings in 1995, and a summer student crew working on the boardwalk along the lake spotted the monster in 2000.
Dang, it's not that long ago.
Right? We were just, that's only 24 years ago.
Yeah.
During the summer of 2003, several town residents say they saw a creature swimming after at least a year with no reports, which had led some residents to speculate Cressy had died.
Yeah, like how old do these things live till?
How do they breed? How does it breed if there's only one?
One, yeah. That's creepy.
In the reports, Cressy was said to resemble a snake-like creature with a fish-like head. So that's twice now.
Yeah.
She's been described that way. A passenger in a passing car shrieked as she looked. A passenger in a passing car shrieked at the driver as she looked out towards the lake and watched as the monster surfaced, its skin shiny and slick under the summer sun. Scun,
yeah.
I'm having a hard time with reading
It's
today.
Okay.
The people in the car both watched as water poured from Cressy's gaping mouth. It was about 20 feet in length and swam silently across the top of the lake before diving down into the cool depths once more.
Ooh.
They're saying they saw water come out of its big old mouth.
No thanks. Night.
Unless you're inviting us, then we'll come.
Yeah, cool.
In the winter, large holes often appear in the ice that covers Crescent Lake, leading some to speculate that the holes were not created by something falling through the ice, but something bursting through it. So they think is sliding.
Yeah.
In 1991, the town of Roberts Arm erected a statue of Cressy at the entrance to the community, along with a storyboard which alleges the sightings.
Cool.
That'd be a great tourist spot to get a photo in front, as the statue greets tourists to the area and is depicted with distinctly dragon-like features, including green scales, a row of plates along its back, and fearsome teeth, which is not the description of it at all.
No, but yeah.
You go, Roberts Arm.
Yeah, whatever you feel like you need to...
Take your creative liberties.
Yeah.
The statue and sightings have been part of a deliberate attempt by the community to promote the monster in hopes of boosting tourism and the local economy.
Right.
In 1992, Roberts Arm was the principal supply and service center for communities on several nearby islands. However, the town's major source for employment, cutting pulpwood for local contractors, was in crisis.
Dang.
After having been in decline for some years. It was also hoped that the community would benefit from efforts to promote tourism along the Bohothuk Trail. Perhaps this hope is strengthened by Cressy.
Okay.
A local gas station is named Cressy's Gas Bar and Supplies.
Oh, that's good.
Which will stop in there.
I would love to.
In 2012, a local newspaper article promoting local hiking spots used the monster as a potential attraction for hikers, saying, "This area is blazing with color in the fall, when the birches, aspens, and maples are changing colors. If you're lucky, you will even catch a glimpse of Cressy, the lake's monsters that lurk beneath Crescent Lake."
Ugh.
Cressy has been featured in Robert's Arms Come Your Home celebrations. And the 1995 Come Your Home commemorative book includes several poems that refer to Cressy, including this passage by Jim Payne. I suppose you've heard of Cressy, the monster in the lake. If you get too handy, she'll give her tail a shake. She'll set you on a boat. She set... Sorry. That's okay, it's not you. She'll set you boat a-rockin' and you won't believe your eyes, and people will make fun of you and say you're telling lies. In May of 2008, local media reported that a production company from Montreal would be heading to Robert's Arm to produce a show for the History Channel.
Cool.
Right? And in September of 2008, History Channel's Monster Quest broadcast an episode called Lake Monsters of the North, which focused on the legends of the monster eels in the lake.
Cool.
I have History Channel, but I can find that.
I bet you could.
In October 2019, a group exhibition called Crafted Beasts opened at the Craft Council of Newfoundland Gallery in St. John's. It examined provincial, Indigenous, and Western European folklore, and which started from the desire to see the transformation of traditional beliefs, customs, and stories that had been passed through word of mouth into physical object.
Okay.
So I would like to visit that too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
This show included a sculpture inspired by the lake monster. Michael Harlick combined forged metal and found bone to build a spooky sculpture one certainly would not want to encounter in deep, dark waters.
Wow.
And that's Cressy.
Insane. We like Cressy.
Cressy's cute. I like the Wasco or the Ghana Cadet.
Ghana Cadet. Their names are so cool.
This is so weird. Now you're going to do one.
I know. It's not that long, but it is long enough. Let me just see here. So I did the Adlet.
I'm so excited to hear about the Adlet.
Yeah. And so I read up on a few different theories and versions and myths about the Adlet. And so I'm going to share with you what I came across while I was researching. So the Adlet is said to be a massive being with the upper body of a human. And then wolf or dog-like legs that are covered in fur. The feet or paws are also large and have giant sharp talons. So
it's human upper body.
Yeah.
Wolf lower body. Big feet, big toenails.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah. And according to the Inuit folklore, the Adlet can resemble what we would consider the classic werewolf.
Okay.
That's what I was saying before.
Right.
They are, however, not shapeshifters like some would think.
Okay, so they stay where they're at.
Yes,
they stay in that form.
In that form, always.
Okay.
It is said that these creatures are the result of an Inuit woman and a large dog, meaning they banged, I guess.
They made love?
They made love. She managed to give birth to 10 kids. With 5 of them being dogs, like adlets, with 5 of them being human and 5 being adlets.
Okay. Like in the litter.
In the litter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 5 were human, 5 were half human.
Half human, yeah.
All right.
And I guess eventually the 5 adlets were sent inland so they could breed with humans.
Right.
So here's the scary part. The thought of half man and half dog breeding with humans that I guess are willing or maybe not so willing. Like, I'm not sure. Like, are they going inland and being like, you want to bang? And then they're like, sure, you're kind of...
Or are they rapey?
Or are they like, I'm taking you.
Right.
But if they were willing, then that would mean that they weren't scared enough to not breed with them, which... I was thinking about it, and in the original movie, Beauty and the Beast, I always thought the Beast was way more badass and hot than like the prince that it turned into in the end.
Yeah.
So I could like kind of see if like, I don't know.
Like,
if this
okay.
And then I was like, am I the only one that thinks this fucked up theory that they're like hot? And I looked on Reddit, and I am not the only one. There's like a whole thread of like people being like, oh, the Beast is way hotter.
That's great. Who else listening thinks the Beast is hotter? Let's hear it.
Beauty and the Beast, yeah.
And also, what like anthropomorphic character maybe was your sexual awakening?
Yeah, right.
It.
There are quite a few I think out there that people are like, okay, not
or
bad.
what Disney character?
Exactly. Anyways, so the creations were in fact terrifying, according to tales. Adlets are known for being ruthless killers that will eat anything. They particularly enjoy human flesh and warm blood.
Ugh.
Yeah. So you really need to keep your ears peeled, I guess, because you will hear piercing howls that are said to either subdue the prey or paralyze their prey with fear.
So is that from, I guess
from hearing, like maybe
from
it's
close?
Like, yeah, or like, yeah, and the sound is like tranquilizing, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of just like you become
you
drawn
like
to it, or you're just like Neville in Harry Potter, where he's just like
Petrificus totalis.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, and so once they attack, I guess they slowly devour and rip apart their victims, leaving them a bloody mess. So, and they are said also to be immortal creatures that can't be killed. However, there are ways to combat them, which include using fire and silver bullets, along with other tales of other monsters in the... you had a couple there that you needed, like, silver.
You need silver. Everybody should just keep some silver around.
Just keep some silver.
If not for the investment.
Yeah, it used to be garlic, too, for vampires.
Yep.
So those two things are the only chance of killing them before they kill you. And then there was another version that I was like, okay, they're kind of different. So I'm like, I'm going to say them both. So
yes,
it's an adlet is also known as half-blood in the Inuit language. So adlets are born as twins, one sibling being fully human.
Okay.
And the other being an adlet.
Okay.
And the adult sibling, which is the adlet, is said to be cursed and is often shunned by human families. Adlets have been described as being fierce hunters with exceptional speed and agility, and they are said to be able to run on all fours like a dog, which gives them the advantage in hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would do it.
Yeah.
That would give you an advantage.
Do you imagine seeing that, like, from afar, like it kind of looking like a person, but then, like, just sitting there being like, what is that? And then being like, what the fuck is that? Ah! Yeah.
Or, like, being on a date and some guy's just like, babe, can you hold my coat? And you're like, yeah, no problem. And he's like,
yeah.
Goes and catches a rabbit. And you're like, what?
Yeah, you're just like, okay, hon.
Right on.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, you go get dinner, sweetheart.
Yeah,
Thank
sweetheart. You've got it, sweetie. So they're said to have sharp teeth and claws. I think we would already like assume that. And they are to be found around or throughout the Arctic region. They are also said to hunt in packs with endless hunger, where the sun barely comes up.
Right.
And the cold is extremely cold, hits deep or whatever. And while they are said to be only mythological creatures, they continue to be an important part of Inuit culture and folklore. And so some people have said they have seen, like, they've had sightings, but are they just tricks of the mind?
Right.
Brought on by, like, isolation. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe you're in an area where it's like, there's nothing here. I can only imagine. I'd go crazy. But that's only because I don't live in a, So are they just tricks of the mind brought on by isolation of the Arctic? Is something deadly really there? Is it waiting? There is a line between myth and reality, and it blurs, which is creepy.
Yeah.
So maybe someone could have had solid proof, but didn't live to tell the tale, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And that's the adlet.
Which
it kind of was like a werewolf. And that's where I was like,
kind of, but werewolves change.
They change. In full moon.
And they don't want to change.
No, and they don't want to change. So, but
adlets just are what they are.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. They kind of just look the same.
Yeah. But
then again, werewolves look all wolf-like, but then kind of have a human, like they can stand upright.
Yeah.
And whereas adlets are like, yeah, kind of neat.
It seems like werewolves go through like bouts of rage, and adlets just like do their thing.
Adlets just do what their instinctive thing is.
Well, I guess they kill people. They kill.
Yeah, but then they bang people too. So I'm like, who knows? Yeah. I don't know. They're kind of just like that mix. It's like that human mixed with like the dog instincts. Like
right.
Yeah, which is kind of a cool combo.
It
Like,
is
I can only imagine their inner, like, what's going on in their heads.
Yeah.
They would need maybe a shrink of some sort.
The adlets.
Yeah, the adlets.
Yeah, there's generational
Look, I
trauma
bang
there
her,
for
but
sure.
I also want to rip her to shreds. What do I do?
Yeah, I'm having a slight issue.
Yeah,
The therapist is like, do you want to hurt yourself or others? He's like, yes, both.
Yeah, both. Okay, take this pill. You'll be okay.
Call me in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Ben Stein. Is his
I love it.
All right. Well, this was a fun episode.
It was good.
It was great. I'm really proud of you for doing that research. It was fantastic.
It was a little bit. I'm not great at researching, but I also enjoyed it.
It was really good, and it takes practice. I'm not great at researching either.
Yeah.
You just get.
There was probably some other things that I could have found, but that's the basics. Okay, that's all you need to know.
And we want to hear more, listeners. If you know about the Adlet and you want us to, do a
tweak it a bit, or
tweak,
be like,
we are
it
happy
doesn't
to
go that way. Actually, it actually goes this way.
On a future
me.
episode, we will take that correction.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
no issue for us. Thanks for tuning in for
Thanks,
this
guys.
week in this episode. We'll be back next week for
something
else creepy and Canadian.
Yep, you got it.
And don't let the bed creeps bite.
See you, creepies. Thank you to Kyle McDonnell for editing and composing our theme song.